guys, so this is Introduction to System Administration class with a specialization for supporting visual studios, meaning people who do in video editing, people who do in visual effects, commercials of film, and people who are working in some infrastructure for or some three-dimensional graphics for games or for film. So all of that is based on my experience working in Los Angeles for Prologue Films, working in New York for ABC Disney. It's going to be a class based on projects instead of looking at on this theory. When you go in step by step, kind of like, okay, so today we're going to learn Unix administration, and everybody falls asleep and nobody can follow what the hell is going on. So we're going to look at examples and things which I met in real world, and from those examples we're going to learn the theory. How do you connect between Windows and Mac? People on the Mac are trying to access a Linux server, clustered storage, let's say Isilon or Cumulo. They're trying to connect. They're having some kind of problem. They're having performance issues with their connections. Or people are trying to render to the network. They cannot map the drive from Windows or from Mac. So in other words, all of the examples are going to be very practical. And not only are you going to learn kind of like introduction to Windows and Windows commands, introduction to Linux and Mac and Unix commands, but you're also going to learn some of the creative technologies. Because if we're talking about creative field, you have to understand that people are editing images. They're, let's say, working in Photoshop, or they're doing video editing. You have to understand applications such as Final Cut or Premiere or Avid. Or they're working on high-end effects in Flame. You have to understand what is compositing, high-end compositing, something like After Effects, something like compositors which are doing node-based compositing, either Flame or DaVinci Resolve. So all of those things, and applications, three-dimensional applications such as Maya and Games Engine. So we're going to look at system administration supporting creative people. So it could be game studio, it could be film studio, it could be post-production studio, it could be university, some kind of film department or visual effects department. These days everybody's doing video, everybody's streaming to the web, so these are highly used skills. Once you understand the foundation of this class, you can use it to go into different fields. You can go into computer security, you can go into artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is going to be everywhere, it's going to change everything. Forensics, all kind of fields, traditional system administration. Or you might think, you know what, I didn't like all of this computer gibberish, but I like the creative things. So that's also a possibility, because this class is good for people who go into college and they want to learn a new career. For people who are changing careers, maybe you've been working as a programmer, you want to try something new, system administration, creative field. For creative people who want to get more more computer wizardry and become more like a technical guy to make more money, because system administration is a good career, let's be honest about it. A lot of people go to system administration because starting salaries can be, I don't know, 50 grand a year if you're just a junior. If you're mid-range, it could be $60,000 to $80,000 a year if you work in the United States. And for people who are more senior, 100 and 120 is not unheard of. And if you're doing something highly specialized like computer security or building architecture in the cloud, it could be 200, 250 grand. So it's a good field. So it's going to be a fun class. Let me stress it again. It's going to be project-based. From the practical example, we're going to go into the theory and understand the theory, which allows you to issue certain commands or to connect or to disconnect or to move the things, to copy things, so to create users. So all of those system administration tasks are going to be approached from the practical point of view. And from there, we're going to go into theory. They're going to be introduction to creative fields, how to edit image, how to edit video, how to do basic 3D things. Because if we're talking about system administration for creative studios, you have to know all of that stuff too. So it's kind of like going into the footsteps of Leonardo da Vinci, who was a great artist, who was a great engineer, and you have to know a little bit of both to be able to do system administration creative field. So I think it's going to be great. I'm going to share some stories when people send me to South America, when they send me to Asia. You're going to travel the world. I've been to Australia. If you're good at your job and you're working for the right companies, that's another bonus. You're going to travel the world. You're going to see the world. So I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be practical. It's going to be theoretical. It's going to be all of it, and it's going to be fun. I see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Bye-bye.